Hello, mystery fans. My name's Brian. This is Casper, your host, and today we'll be reviewing Once We Were Brothers by Robert Balson. So, Once We Were Brothers is about a man named Ben Solomon, and he is determined to right the wrongs that were done to him and his family. Growing up in 1930s and 40s Poland, a boy named Otto Piontek was abandoned on Ben Solomon's family doorstep. Otto was abandoned by his father and mother. Ben and Otto grew up together and see each other as brothers. Ben's parents even see Otto as their own son. As the years pass, the NZs begin to seize power, and Otto's biological parents return, hoping to reclaim him. Otto refuses, telling them that the Solomons are his true family. Seeing an opportunity to have a man on the inside and help protect not only the Solomons but their community, they convince Otto to go with his biological parents. But soon, the power goes to Otto's head, and the Solomons lose their man on the inside. Years later, Ben immigrates to the United States and spots a man in Chicago named Elliot Rosenstein and confronts him at a charity banquet. Once he has Elliot cornered, Ben accuses him of being Otto, reminding him that once we were brothers. So, this story is a historical mystery, and it was probably one of my favorite stories of the year. We follow three people throughout this story, and you get their perspectives. So, obviously, we follow Ben, and the story begins in early 2000s Chicago, with Ben preparing to go and confront Elliot. And he's a little apprehensive about it, of course. And then we get the point of view of Elliot. And we see that he is Jewish and that he's no longer practicing because of his time in Auschwitz concentration camp. Flash forward to the banquet, and Ben, of course, corners Elliot and confronts him as being Otto Piontek, the man who betrayed his family. And Elliot is, of course, aghast by it, and even shows Ben his Auschwitz tattoo to kind of show him that, we're on the same side. I went through it just like you. Of course, they are able to arrest Ben because he did assault Elliot with a gun. And Elliot is, of course, moved by Ben's story and hires a private investigator to figure out who this Otto Piontek is. Ben, however, is not buying it and believes wholeheartedly that Elliot is really just Otto, masquerading as a survivor of the Holocaust. The way we get introduced to Catherine, who is a lawyer for a big law firm, is Liam, who is also a private investigator, convinces Catherine to at least talk with Ben. And Ben is telling his story to Catherine, who is already so overworked that it is practically just she's overwhelmed, and she tries to tell Ben, please just get to the point and tell me what it is that you need me to do, because I'm so overwhelmed. And Ben, being the gentle man that he was, says, no, first you need to hear my story so you can feel my emotions. And boy, do you get to fall in love with Ben's family and feel what he feels. Elliot Rosenstein, as I said, is a wealthy man in Chicago, and is, just his heart falls out for this man named Ben, and he wants to find out who this Otto Piontek is, because who wants to be accused of being a NZ? No one, right? And then Catherine, of course, is this lawyer who she feels like she is just overwhelmed with making rich people richer and only representing the top wealthiest people in her law firm, and feels that she is just wasting away her talents for these wealthy individuals. And Otto Piontek is a man who you kind of more or less see him grow up a little bit. The story doesn't get too much into their childhood, but you do hear stories of Otto and Ben growing up, and you kind of, wish Otto would have, stayed loyal to the family. And then, of course, we have Liam, who is a private investigator. And so, really, the story follows these two, Catherine and Liam, as they try to figure out who is Otto Piontek, and if Ben is correct in his assumption that Elliot is just Otto in disguise. What did I like about this book? I loved everything about this book. I don't remember any cursing in this book, which is, don't quote me on it, but I don't remember ever have to do seize up when I see God's name taken in vain or anything of that nature. I also love, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a scene, there's a part in the story where Catherine asks Ben, because Ben is still a religious Jew. He's still very much observant of his beliefs. How can you still believe after what you went through? And Ben's answer is just golden, in my opinion. What did I not like about this book? Well, I am a coming-of-age lover, and I would love a little bit more of Ben and Otto's story of growing up. That's about it. That's the only thing I did not like about this book. So really, a wonderful coming-of-age / mystery that just makes you fall in love. Made me fall in love with this author. And there are, I think, 4 other stories in this series that we follow Catherine and William as they investigate. And I think they're all set in around the same time. I could be wrong. But it is a fascinating story and a series that I will continue once my Read What You Own challenge is completed. So, very much recommend Want to Be Brothers. 4.5 stars. Like, not quite 5. If it would have had more coming of age, I would have definitely give this a solid 5. But still very much enjoyed this story. So, that's our review for today. What have you been reading? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you all Saturday.